Yeah, I thought you.
And
I
we're
thought
back.
you. I thought you were recording, sucker.
No, I know. I
I'll
know.
forget, dude. I'll forget. I can't turn the recording off anymore because I
No.
forget, and then I'll talk for like 20 minutes, and I'll be like, "Fuck, forgot to hit record." So
Well,
I
and
don't even.
you and I
I
talk
just
pretty well. So we'll talk for half an hour before the fucking thing starts. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, we better stop. Hold on.
That's what I was thinking about in the bathroom. I mean, there's energy around the. I was thinking the 30-minute thing is
Hmm.
cool because, sometimes you'll get maybe it's not the best interview or, you're not like vibing. And so it's like,
Yep.
okay, that one's 30 minutes. This one's pretty good. We'll go an hour. Oh, you want to go another 30 minutes? We're having
Yep.
a great conversation. We're talking about some cool stuff. We can go an hour and 30.
Yeah.
So that,
Yeah.
I'm not going to copy it. That's your style, but I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Fresco Harmony gets three parts or whatever, and
Hmm.
you just call them minis, mini parts or whatever.
Yeah. And I think it's the nice part about that is the only expectation is that we'll have 30 minutes when you come on this podcast. So it's, if some people are
Okay.
nervous or whatever, like anybody can fight through 30 minutes, like
Yeah.
I as a host can hold any conversation for 30 minutes. But then, if you get to an hour, that's great. Or we do what you and I just did, where it's like, okay, well, there's our hour, but we're not done here. Like, there's lots to talk about. So you just do another
Yeah.
one.
I would have to do like, for me, it's like an energy.
Hmm.
And so I can go about an hour, but then I start losing track of things and my mind starts getting foggy because I'm holding the conversation
Yeah.
with the interviewee and I'm really focused on, it's almost harder to listen like,
Yeah.
than it is to talk.
That is absolutely my hardest part. I've got Lydia on the other day, and I'm like catching myself going, "Do not cut her off." Like, and she's speaking, so shut up and let her talk. Because she's got a lot of good things to say, right? Like that's I was shocked when I reached out to her. I've reached out to a couple of people that I really wanted to have on, and her
Yeah.
her answer right away was absolutely. And I was like,
She's so cool like that. It was
oh, it
like,
was
yeah,
wicked.
no ego, just like, yes, of course, but with me too. It was like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
her and Shannon were like that. Where like I know they're as busy as I am. They're probably busier than I am. And you're gonna hand over an hour and a half of your time to it. And there's no
mhm.
sense of that when you talk to them. They're just so happy, right? At the beginning, I was like, okay, so how much time do you think you have? And she's like, as much time as we need. Like there was no push at all. So
Yeah.
yeah, I really appreciate those kind of guests, if you will, especially when
And
they're
you
good.
had Manny with the construction.
It was wicked.
Yeah. So
It was
he's cool with he told me to get him the info. He's gonna be on the drywall podcast. So
yeah,
he'll be
he's
the first non-drywall guy on the drywall podcast. But I mean, like, you know,
great. You're breaking your rules.
Joe Koenig, though, I mean, you got these like tool manufacturers,
Yeah.
how much, even like Aaron and Elliot's like, how much tape have you strung?
Right. I kind of fall into that category too, so we got to be a little more loose with those rules, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're like contractor, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
so you
do
do
I do a
a
little bit of
lot more.
everything. Yeah, I
Yeah,
do
but
everything.
your shit.
That's the
You
difference.
know,
Yeah. Can you hold a conversation about it? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
yeah. And Manny could go into because he's like about
Totally.
podcasting and like that whole element. So I'm curious about that. I'm going to do a little bit of research on him. He's got a huge pull, and ultimately it was because I wanted to be on his podcast.
Yeah.
I should have just asked that to begin with, but I was like, fuck it. I already like threw it out there.
Yep.
We'll see.
So I
But
think that day that I was in there, he did 3 that day. That day.
that's what you were telling me. That's
He's
crazy.
he's he's gonna do something like 300 this year, something stupid. But it's good, and the
It's
ones that I've
crazy.
listened to. So, like I was telling you before, my Apple podcast is basically just you and him. What else is on there? Flat butts, but it's all industry stuff, right? Like it's all what we're doing, and then my Spotify is all the stuff that I like, Rogan and all that other kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But you do a fantastic job as well, where unless I'm really not into it, or like the audio's off on someone's on their end kind of thing, I have no problem listening to the whole thing. And with his stuff, like he had epoxy flooring on, and I'll listen to that for so long, but you don't have an hour and a half of my interest with
Yeah.
epoxy flooring
No,
or
that's a
whatever.
good gauge. That's a good
Hmm.
gauge. If somebody's listening, that's my job. So my job is to hold your attention for an hour.
Totally.
That's kind of the way I look at it. If the conversation's drifting a little bit, then let's change gears.
Hmm.
Oh, so let's talk about whatever, this other thing that I wanted to talk about.
Well,
Did
all
you
right.
listen to the did you listen to the Kevin Bush?
I did. I got about halfway through it, and then I got to work.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I had 4 trades on the other day. So I was like, okay, this is gonna have to. I almost
Yeah.
have I am very much an animal of um. I do the same shit all the time. I almost have like a routine for my week. So my when I drive into work, I'll listen to you, and then if there's more time than that, I'll listen to it while I'm there, and then whatever Manny's done, that's basically all of Monday, and then Tuesday I got like two Bears and Rogan and that kind of stuff. So so
Okay,
so
interesting.
when something slips, I'm like, fuck. The other thing I'm doing is Curtis Jackson put out a book, The Hustler, and I'm listening to that. Which again, if I get into a decent chapter on that, I'll 2 hours will go by and I won't know what happened. So that kind of throws everything off too. But um,
Yep.
yeah, it's nice. I enjoy having stuff that's not professionally done, not professionally done, but I mean like people I'll never meet, like that's fun. But this stuff I think is really my favorite now, where
Yeah.
you know these guys and you know the products and you're almost part of it because you're there. It's
Were
like
you when I interviewed you, were you going to do a podcast? Had you thought about doing a podcast?
oh yeah, I had wrapped my head around it in the summertime, and then when did we do it? It was like December, right? Start of December, I think, like the second or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it was after the Black Friday.
yeah. So then,
Okay. All right.
um, Josh, he and I knew like since I don't know, like fucking July that we were gonna do one.
Okay.
And then when we left Black Friday, that's when I jumped right into that with him, and then it
Were you
started.
listening to the Drywall podcast though? Had you started listening?
Yes. So
Okay.
I'm trying to remember who it was that I saw on there that. uh, Hmm. Anyways, it was on Instagram and it said podcast. I hadn't even listened to it yet when I reached out to you because I was like,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. And then I went in and when
Cool.
it dropped down the first time, there was only whatever 5 or 6 episodes. So I downloaded them all and I started listening to them. And then as I'm driving in the car, I see it's episode like 25 or something. I'm like, there wasn't 25 fucking episodes. So I go back
Uh,
and then you drop it down, and I was like, oh, I know some of these people. and,
yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
start listening, right? So I started you from episode 1 too. Why not, right? So I think by the time that I was on the podcast, I probably had maybe a dozen or something like that, of
Okay.
10 episodes or something. So I really kind of had an idea of how you do things, which was nice. Manny makes you fucking sing on his. I had to sing a song at the beginning.
I'll sing on you have you seen my well, I mean I sing on my personal Instagram page. Are you friends with me on Instagram?
I don't know if I'm on your personal one. I know I'm
Yeah.
on your personal Facebook now. That
I
was that
sing
was
I
fun.
sing I sing and play guitar on there.
Oh, that's mint. See, that'd be. I do not sing, so I did.
So it won't,
I did. You're welcome from Moana.
it won't
I
bother me. It
I
won't
thought
bother
it
me.
was appropriate. Yeah,
I see what's happening here.
yeah, with my deep voice.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I said, you're welcome. All the people that know me are like, yeah, that's about the most narcissistic fucking song you can sing. So that's good. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
it was.
we've got a little bit of time though.
Mhm.
Is there any other things you want to know about the fresco?
We kind of hit everything that I wanted to talk
Everything.
about, like kind of where it got started and where I think we're heading. I really like the idea that Well, I got mixed feelings about it, but I like the idea that you're kind of off the tools and you're moving into the growing the business. And then
Okay.
when you're not on the
Yeah.
tools all the time, you've got time for if someone's got a question or whatever. So that I think is going to be really good for it. But
The
I
challenge that's challenging,
yeah,
like because when you're not on the tool, I've talked about it on the podcast before, you don't think you're being productive,
right.
but that's not true. Like you have to realize like what you're doing is important enough that like,
Well, it's the
even
it's
my wife will be like, oh, that podcast, like, oh, you have a podcast, like, that's not making money. I'm not
yeah,
on the wall
yeah.
making a square footage rate, so it doesn't equate to work per se. That's
Well,
not that's a different attitude than like, the energy. That's why I go back to the energy. It's all energy,
well,
and Lydia realizes that too.
yeah, you're marketing while you're doing this all as well, and it like our conversation here. It's not like we got a whole pile of notes and talking points or anything like that. It's just
Yeah.
it's just a comfortable conversation that people are going to listen to, and they're going to start to understand that there's other products out there, that there's a lot of fucking money to be made. And it's not a
Yeah.
whole lot of, you don't have to go buy a sprayer, you don't have to go, learn color manipulation and all that other kind of stuff. All that work's been done for you. You just got to pick it up and start doing it. Yeah, when I took on that contract work and I was off of the tools, you almost it almost kills you a little bit because you want to be on the
Hmm.
tools. But it's what do you do for the community, right? And what you're doing is building it, getting it out there. At some point you're gonna have to ramp up your manufacturing like a fucking tenfold, I would assume, hey, or
I hope so. I sold I sold 4 gallons of pearl while we were on the podcast.
that's amazing.
It's crazy. Comes
Four
through.
gallons.
Somebody's fucking busting some. That's 2,400 square feet. So somebody's busting some shit.
No
Like I
shit.
don't even know. I don't even know the person. Like what the fuck? Who's that? It's getting to that point where that's really cool. Sometimes I'll inquire. I'm
Mhm.
very involved. Like if somebody has a question or whatever, so I try to be like over the top, like
And,
involved.
so your merch coming to CSR too?
Uh, I don't have much, and it's expensive, and I like give
I
it
know,
away.
but I fucking love looking at it.
You know,
Yeah.
like I was just talking with Kevin,
Yeah.
like so the drywall chicks,
Yep.
they just reached out about products, so like
Nice.
they get hats. There's another person that just ordered, David Moore. He ordered a bunch. I think he's ordered several times. So
Hmm.
somebody orders a couple times. It's like, dude, you wear
Yeah.
hats,
Yeah.
you know. So then they get a hat, but
That hat is dope. Cam sent me a video as soon as he got it, and he's like, "Look at this! Look what I got here." I was like,
I'll get you a hat, dude.
"Yeah, oh, I'll fucking, I'll rock it."
I didn't have any. I think I gave Aaron my last one, but I've since ordered, and I have a couple, but I could bring all of my merch up there and like, save it back and just give it out, dole it out
Perfect.
a little bit. We are doing a Techdry tool every hour on the hour of the
Nice.
training, so that's cool.
Well, that's on my list of
Whatever.
shit to buy, so it'd be nice to win one.
But you can absolutely have a shirt or a hat or whatever you did I send you anything?
No, nothing sent, but I got
A shirt.
that
I
shirt
gave you a
from when I
shirt.
met you. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
which was
Yeah, the
nice.
hats are cooler.
Yeah. Oh, it's a cool, and same with the one that you're wearing, right? That to me, that's like a baseball kind of feel to it. Like,
These came after these I bought after the Black Friday
mhm.
event.
Yeah, the white one. So yeah,
Uh
looks dope.
yeah, these are cool. They're really comfortable.
Yeah, I
They're
did
not
that.
as good a quality, but they're kind of cheap, and I like that about them. They're like kind of like that old school 70s.
Well, and when you fucking ruin one, it was $8 or whatever, right? Or what, however
Yeah.
much you're paying for it. I mean, when you're wearing it yourself. I did that with all of my merch. I went nice quality because I got to wear it. And then when we talked about like releasing it for people, people have asked, and it's just too expensive. Like
Yeah,
for I think the sweaters were like 30 or $40 for me, and then you got to ship it to them. And then if you're,
that's that's the
it's
short answer to your question, is that the
yeah,
merch is expensive, and honestly, I hold it back for people that are doing Fresco. And
totally.
like, somebody's ordered dropping $300, or they've ordered several times, I'll throw them a hat, or if
Yeah.
somebody's an influencer, the drywall chicks, I'll send them two
Hmm.
hats,
Totally.
they wear hats. So like, hopefully they'll fucking wear the hat. Hopefully they'll use the product and sell it.
Hmm.
I mean, that's the point, kind of like that. I try to hold it back, but I would give you a hat for sure, Manny. Like, people that are influencers or doing podcasts or cool
Hmm.
shit. Cory, I would give him, I give him a hat. Like, I think he has one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, my hats have kind of been the same thing. But you hold them back for the people that you want to have them. It's like, well, we had a giveaway last year where I did two of them. But if I'm giving it away to somebody, it's a one-off, right? So that no one's ever had that before. Manny's was
Hmm.
the same thing. It was the black one that I usually carry, but we got this like metallic silver writing on it, which was pretty dope. Then the one that
Yeah.
I had the camouflage on the brim. I just like doing that. I'm hooked up with Lids up here. They're
Okay.
strictly a hat company. When you buy X amount from them all at once, I can walk in there and the hats are half off and the stitching is half off, and it's done in like a half an hour, and I'm out of there with a new hat.
I like the
Um,
old English. I think it's cool.
yeah, yeah, no, I do. That's I had to pay $115 or something for that for the writing. Because what I said to her was what I wanted originally was what looked like a big back tattoo. So when I was wearing the
Like
shirt,
Sublime, like Sublime.
yeah, or so yeah, you know what I mean? Where when you see it on across my big back, it looks like a big
Yeah.
tattoo, right? And then
Gangster.
yeah, that was kind of the way I was looking at it. I was like, you know what? We're 36 now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been pretty good. Yeah, the merch is fun, man. I like I just like it. If I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
shit, I'd rather it be something where somebody asks about it and I got a good story.
I like the branding. I was gonna have a segment that involved the like what's your favorite brand? Like,
Yeah.
take the tools out of the equation.
Hmm.
You know right now, who do you think's got the best branding? Who's doing the best job of branding? I like that
Hmm.
conversation. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like Columbia right off the bat was in every video game ever when I had a color scheme that I could use, it was always black and then white on black. And that's how that was what was attractive to me right away with
Yeah.
them, but it's very plain, right? It's not super loud, it's not out there. It's
Hmm.
just this is our stuff. Now I
Yep.
when they sent me the last care package, there wasn't any shirts in it, and she was like, we're redoing it, so I'm excited to see what the new stuff looks like. But
Okay. I like the black with the Columbia across the front.
same,
Like, I
it
think
is
that's
fucking classic.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
It's
and
cool.
and it's you get a couple of people in a room with it. It's not like you're all part of a band or something. Like it's if you've
Yeah.
got shirts with shit all over it, and yeah, I don't know. It's I like this one. I like that orange. He said he said
I
he's
like
got
the
a
orange too. The orange is
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's yeah, you'll never miss me in a crowd wearing this. That's for sure. That's for sure.
No, no, you can see it. You can see it well.
Mm. What were you saying you wanted to talk to me about before we broke off? Do you remember? I can't remember for the life of me. Hmm.
Oh, we were talking about build 23.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so I'm doing that's my first national show. I mean, it's
That's
a
a
pretty
big
big
thing.
deal. Yeah. So I'm gonna be laser focused. Cam's coming.
Nice.
Chad Hesher with Hesher Drywall is coming.
Okay.
We're all gonna be in baseball shirts because I think the baseball shirts kind of cool and chill.
Yep.
And like, we're gonna be the cool hip dudes selling fucking colored mud. And like, I'll be laser focused. We'll be doing samples. And I'm just excited. I'm excited. It's only 7 hours, 7.5 hours on the floor between 2 days. And I was going to ask if you were coming. And
So I've started talking to a couple of people. I got a buddy down there that's got a timeshare. So I've reached out to him. I've got another buddy that goes down there all the time. So he's kind of gave me some pointers of where to go and stay. I reached out to Columbia and just said, do you guys do like a friends and family? Like, do they allow you to do a package and what does it cost? And I was told not to buy anything yet. So I don't know if
okay.
they're going and they're gonna take me or what the deal is. But I
Yeah,
really
I'll talk with the lady, but I think I can get at least get passes for Chad and
mhm,
Cam,
yeah,
you
that
know, and
that
then
that's what that's what we're hoping for anyways, because I'd like to go down there. It's selfishly, it would be a great place to hand out some cards for the podcast for sure.
yeah,
But I
for
think
sure.
just to hang out, right? Because I'm not
Yeah.
fucking selling anything down there, right? I'm just there as like a hangout dude.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and you get to meet people and see some really cool new tools and like stilts and stuff. You know, I
mhm,
mean, people from all over. Proform, Trim Tex is going to be right behind me.
nice.
Canam's going to be across the aisle. Columbia is going to be down a little bit, you know, but we'll all be right there in a little conglomerate. You know, different mud companies and drywall, American Gypsum and L&W
Yeah.
Supply. You know, some of these monsters are going to be there.
If I go, I'm just gonna try and be like a butterfly and just like throw whatever shirt on everyone's wearing and, and stick around the booth for a bit and then fuck off, go to the next one.
Yeah, yeah, for
I think
sure.
it'll be fun, man. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's all. I just wanted to give a shout out that we will be in Las Vegas March 13th through the 17th, but it's like the show is on the 15th and 16th, Wednesday and Thursday, booth
Mhm.
430.
Yeah, I think if I'm coming, it's just gonna be for a day or two. Just I'm just so
Yeah,
fucking rammed, man. It's
yeah,
I'm trying my best to get some more time for everything, but what do you take the time away from, right?
yeah.
I just got so much on the go, and I just started at a new gym too, so I'm excited about that. But that's another probably 2 hours a
Nice.
day to try and fit in somewhere.
I was supposed to go today and I didn't. I'm only working. I work out 3 times a week,
Yeah,
and
that's a solid. That's solid for what you're
so
doing.
easy. It's so easy to be like, you know, and I'm glad I didn't work out because I had this other shit to do, you know,
Hmm.
and like I got back here by 1 o'clock, you know, and then I had like I was on the phone and like I have 3 orders to get out, and like I haven't. It's 4 o'clock and I haven't fucking done it yet, you know. So it gets harder and harder. Like you have to make it a priority to work out, and then it's
Yeah.
like I got to tell my wife, like, you know what? I need to wake up at 5 and just plan on working out 7 to 8:30
Hmm.
on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Like I need to do, you know what I mean? You
I
work out.
totally
Like
do.
it
Yeah.
has to be that way. Otherwise you don't fucking do it.
Well, and you can't. Yeah, you can't just work out when you feel like it, and you can't rush it. Right?
Right.
You're not going to get what you want to get out of it if you're like, okay, I only got 45 minutes. I'm going to try and rush it all. No, like
No, I haven't
come.
talked to you about I work out with a like an Olympic trainer. Like
You
he's
mentioned
huge.
it. Yeah, you mentioned it before quickly. I
We
think.
don't use any weights, no weight. It's all body weight. It's all
Oh,
form. It's all core.
yeah.
Like I'm working on opening this up, and it's
Hmm.
all like engaging like core, but like your pelvis and like proper splits, or proper squats. But we do a lot with because I play soccer, a lot of hip,
Hmm.
a lot of like foam roller, a lot of stretching. And like people kind of make fun of me. My wife works out with a dude at the gym that I'm at, and like,
Hmm.
because I'm not using any weight. It's all
Yeah.
like it's all weird. It's all kind of weird stuff, but it's all form related and I'm doing it properly. And if you like do weird stuff like split squats properly, you can do 10 and they're really hard to do,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Those like Bulgarian where you've got the one foot kicked up behind you and you're doing the
Yeah.
squat down. It,
Yeah, I do like single leg squat. Um all this weird stuff. Um, but I have a whole list that he gives me. So I work out with him once a week on Saturday morning at 7. And then he gives me the workout, and then I do that the other 2 days. I'll do what he tells me. And then I
kind of
do
your
he does my nutrition as well.
Yeah, it's like your homework for the week, and then you come back
Yeah.
and you got a big, almost like a
Yeah.
teach out big workout on Saturday
Yeah, and
again, do it
he'll,
again.
and then he slowly, like, it gets harder and harder. We do
Hmm.
scalp push-ups,
Hmm.
where you're just doing the,
Yeah.
all this back here. It's like, because I have this like slouch thing,
Yep.
which a lot of us do, but mine I think is exacerbated. So I'm always, I'm trying to push this out.
I had to do it when I started working out. So I was like 320 and I was like a big pear. I had no upper body at all. And I almost passed out doing my work boots one day because I was so heavy.
Yeah.
I got tingly. So I said, fuck this, I'm going to start working out. And I was just comfortable doing, my front delts, my bench, my, biceps, like that kind of stuff. I was doing my legs, but I wasn't focusing a lot on my back. And I started getting this like where your shoulders are almost rolled forward because your mass
Yep.
is at the front. So then now, like my back workouts now are typically my favorite because it was
He
one of those
he
things.
talks about that. He talks about people working out
Mhm,
improperly, and what it
mhm,
does is you compensate in different areas if you're loading, one side or another, loading weird.
mhm,
I plant, but like I rip the soccer ball with my right foot, so my left plant foot it's different. It's like it's a different, like my hip, everything on my left side is like all geared towards this plant for a 90-mile-an-hour soccer ball shot, with my
mhm.
right foot. So we're working on offsetting that. We do,
Well, you're
you
literally
know,
training. Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and then we do, he does everything he does is like, I don't do like, you know, two arm. It's always like this arm
Mhm.
and this side and then this side. It's always single leg, stuff, which I know also builds strength, you know.
Well, and it's also your core, right? Like if I've got a bunch of heavy stuff going on and I feel like it's becoming too easy, I'll keep the same weight because I know that's what I need, and I'll do it one arm at a time. And then the rest of your body to keep your form has to fight it as you're doing it, and then come back down and then do this one. And you don't want any of this shaky shit going on, and you
Correct.
you you want to keep yourself positioned. But when I do a workout like that and wake up the next day, it's very evident that I've been doing something different. It's it it
Yeah.
it, it hits you differently, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
not as like much about sweating as it is about, feeling good,
yeah.
And then I'll do a bunch of stretching, and which, if you do some proper stretching and foam roller, that's 30 minutes,
Everyone that I
you
talk
know.
to says that I need to be doing more of that, and I think that's what's going to make the longevity of it. Where if you're really having a good workout and then you're stretching out afterwards, you're doing your foam roller, you're not just going to beat yourself up. Like you're doing the proper care after the beat up. And then, you
Yep.
can do that for 20 years. If you're just going to beat the shit out of yourself all the time, and then now you've hurt yourself and you're 2 weeks off again, and, it's no good for anybody. It's, that's another part of getting older, is getting rid of all that ego. Where, typically if you see me with more than two plates on anything, I'm in a mood, if
Yeah.
I'm on the bench with two plates, I'm still doing whatever 15 reps or something, right? But I am
Yep.
way more concerned with a full stretch and then a full squeeze, right? Where
Yeah.
you're really really understanding what you're doing to the muscle, you're doing it nice and slow. When you see these guys with tons of weight on stuff and they're just like throwing it and then they're letting it drop on their chest, like it's you're not doing anything. You are, I guess
Yeah.
you can tell everyone that you've done it, but you're not building muscle like you should be properly. Like I would rather see people take half of the weight that they do and then do it in three times how long it takes you to all the way up, all the way down, take a breath at the bottom,
Yeah.
like
And
it.
do you do nutrition stuff?
I do. So I know how to calculate all my macros, and then I like, so when I'm training, I'm 300 grams of protein a day.
Oh,
It,
okay.
it's an enormous amount of
Yeah.
protein. Um, But, yeah, I do. Typically, if I'm just getting back into it, I cut out carbonation, anything out of a box or a bag.
I'm
Um,
doing over 300 grams of protein. I'm
wow.
smaller.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah, my metabolism is cranked
that's what I was gonna
like
say.
all the time.
Yeah, I don't have to ever eat for the size that I want to be. I typically can put muscle on pretty quick. It's just my whatever you call it, mesomorph or whatever it's called.
Hmm.
But the smaller guys, if you want to put on weight, you've got to eat like you're that weight, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you
And I'll
just
still
ingest
like
it and
I'll eat
it
I'll eat all
fizzles
my
away.
meals. I'll eat all my meals and still like do two pomegranates, and a
Yeah.
package of graham crackers or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like just that carbs and sugar and I'm just
My
you know
buddy Mike has Rice Krispie squares and he eats it after the gym. It spikes his insulin, right? So
really
when he does, he takes all of his protein and stuff, but he'll eat like a sugary snack after the gym, and it does real
interesting.
well for him. Yeah, but he's also
Yeah,
in with
my post workout is it's smoothie stuff,
yep.
lots of berries, lots of sugar.
They used to say 2 apples. Like when I started working out, they would say do all your post workout shit and then eat 2 apples, and I never understood why because I was still kind of just dumb. But yeah, I think it's got to have something to do with your insulin response and delivery, right? Do you do any supplementation? Like, do you take a pre-workout or anything like that?
It's collagen
Yep.
peptides is
Cool.
all a lot of that because of my probably because of my age.
Hmm.
He's got
I
he does my whole meal.
so
All of my
every that's perfect. Just
he
so you
does
just
every
do what you're told.
it's
Yeah.
it's 250. He gives me each week. He gives me my menu, and
Hmm.
then I cook it pre-workout, post-workout, and then like two meals.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm doing like flank steak and
Flank steaks
rice
bomb.
and asparagus and uh yeah, like that weird, sometimes I'll do like, chicken thigh as more fat. I'm
Hmm.
still learning, but it's easy when I just have a menu,
Oh, totally. And it's not a fucking cheeseburger, right? Like that's the other part of it is,
no.
when you're taking in whatever you're taking in, when a guy gives you a list like that, you don't have to kill yourself to follow it, but you do have to eat what's on that list, right? So now, when you're paying for it, you ought to be following it. I just mean it's
Yeah,
for
no, it's a practice. It's
yeah.
hard. It's just like quitting something or, quitting nicotine or
Hmm.
uh, you know, it's anything that's addictive,
Yeah.
like sugar is no different. It's
Well,
really weird.
it's
It's
routine,
habit
right? You
habit and routine.
yeah.
And like I've been doing it for 2 years and
Yeah.
I'm still working at it. It's weird.
Yeah,
Like,
a good friend of mine told me it's 80/20, right? So you gotta be as strict as possible 80% of the time, and then if you want to have a slice of pizza or something, just do it.
yeah, and
As
not
long as
yeah,
it's not
that
20 more than 20% of the time, you gotta live your life. But
yeah,
if
don't kick your own ass
that's
too
right.
much. That's a slippery slope too, because then you get into like eating disorders and
Well,
stuff like that.
that was always and not just lifting, but how I've always taught myself everything is punishment. Where it's you don't get any of this stuff because you're being punished. Follow this thing, and in 30 days we'll do whatever we want for a couple of days, and we'll start again. The new way of looking at
That's
that is
smart.
it's a lifestyle change, right? It's not punishment. I'm going to the gym because I enjoy it. I'm eating
Yeah.
the way that I'm eating because I can't enjoy the gym if I don't eat correctly, right?
Well, you don't eat like my buddy Stacy was like, he was like, I didn't want to do that. I like to have what I eat and like I couldn't eat all that food. Didn't taste very good, this and that. And it's like, well, it's not about that. It's
Yeah,
not about, you don't realize like, oh, it's not about the taste of the
yeah.
food. People be
So
like, well, I like that, but I like to eat food for enjoyment. It's like, well, yeah, but food's
yeah,
like just nourishment. It's
that's right.
straight fuel.
Yeah,
That's
go
it.
go
That's a
get
different way of thinking.
go get your good feeling from something else. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was so I got down to 260 at one point and I was enormous. Just big. You could see my obliques. Like I was doing real well. And I was eating every 2 hours and I was putting chicken broth in my rice so I didn't have to chew it anymore because I was just eating so much. So you would just
Yeah.
eat and swallow because it was like lubricated enough to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's you have to wrap your head around. Food is not fun all the time. Sometimes you just need to put it in your body to do what you need to
Hmm.
do. Yeah. And I think people do
Yeah.
have that offset where they're like, no, food's my friend. It's this thing that I've always enjoyed doing.
Hmm.
And then go ahead. But then, just fucking, then you don't want it bad enough. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All
It's
right.
interesting.
We're getting real close here. Okay. So we did
Yeah.
our shout outs. So that's real good. I'm super happy to have had you on, man. That was wicked. This was a good talk.
Yeah.
And then so the 24th at CSR, we're gonna have that build out. What are
Yeah.
we gonna call it? Just a meetup. It's a teach out.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't figured out a name. I told the marketing team over at CSR to come up with something clever, but with the main focus of I want people to have fun.
Yeah.
We're going to learn about Fresco Harmony, sales,
Yep.
and and take some, get some free stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, that'll be all over my page, of course. It'll be all over yours and CSR's, and it's I think we're all excited to have you back. So
Yeah,
that's
thank you
fun.
so much too for all your support,
Hey,
Sean, and thanks for having me on the Brawley's Dad podcast. It's been awesome.
yeah, no, I'm super happy to do it, and I absolutely back the product. I'm just excited to start doing it myself and start
Yeah.
getting the designers into it and see what we can do with it, right? Okay,
Uh,
everybody, be humble, treat everyone the same, and do your fucking job.
do your fucking job.